How is it to fathom the mentality of a company that would tarnish one of the most iconic superheroes in comic book history by developing a third-person loot shooter with live service with a terrible story and gameplay? Suggesting such a concept should be basically immediately firing the CFO and CEO who proposed it. The gaming and comic community hold up high standards for these games. They're basically like aristocrats. No, in fact, WB Games CEO JB Perret mentioned this in an interview with GameSpot and said, rather than launching one-and-done console games, how do we develop a game around, for example, Hogwarts Legacy or Harry Potter, that is a live service where people can live and work and build and play in a world that is ongoing basis. In other words,
fuck linear story, make it online and live service!
It's better to pull the plug on this concept and focus on creating single-player games for another character. We were on the verge of making a good Superman game 20 years ago, and the closest that we ever get officially was Superman Returns. While Superman Returns isn't a terrible movie as people say it to believe, it serves as a heartfelt tribute to the fans of the Richard Donner and Christopher Reeves films. Brandon Routh's portrayal as Superman was so impressive that he was later cast in the Kingdom Come Superman and was added to the role of the game, which you gotta give him credit for. Naturally, a movie tie-in game was created, and so how does it fare in a world where most movie tie-in games are considered trash? Well, let's find out. The game begins with a meteor shower heading towards Metropolis. Of course, this looks like a job for Superman! It serves as a tutorial mission teaching you how to use flight, heat vision, super breath, and frost breath. To be honest, I never really used the super breath. I mean, I can push enemies back, but the frost breath is more useful. However, the major flaw that everybody points out with this game is the city health bar. While I understand this concept of Superman is a powerful character who can withstand immense physical damage, he can still take substantial hits. Characters like Metallo, Parasite, even Lobo can deliver heavy damage capable of knocking out Superman. I even addressed that Kryptonite can work as poison damage, which has been done multiple times in games. Giving the life bar to the city is a terrible idea. The one thing I do love about the game is the flight controls. They're decent, but once you activate super speed, it takes the flying experience to a whole new level. This truly captures Superman flying, not just hovering, but soaring through the skies of Metropolis at supersonic speed. It really feels like you're breaking a sound barrier, which is an exhilarating experience. So, what else did the game offer? The second level shifts to focus on combat as we're transported to Warworld. That means
to battle the ultimate destroyer, Mongol!
For those who aren't familiar with Mongol, he's a tyrannical warlord who captures people and drags them into his gladiatorial space station, Warworld, where prisoners are forced to fight. The setting has a full gladiator vibes, and even Superman in the comics sports a badass gladiator outfit. This isn't your typical boss fight. To win, you need to gain the approval of the audience, similar to a gladiator arena. You can fight on the ground and in the air, form combo moves, and use your dodge and block buttons. Once you've won the audience, you can leave Warworld and work back in Metropolis. Okay, let's delve more into Superman's gameplay. You can pick up objects, fly faster, and more speed of sound, which is possibly the best thing in the entire game, but the game features a stamina meter instead of a health bar for Superman, and the only way to replenish it is by flying close to the sun. This makes sense as Superman gains his abilities from Earth's yellow sun, and he can even become more powerful the closer he gets to it. But however, it can be extremely tedious to just fly up and down to replenish your stamina, especially if you're in a boss fight. Furthermore, one of the game's standout features is the size of Metropolis. It's bigger than the Metropolis in Suicide Squad for the Justice League. Sure, Sure, as Superman I need a lot of open space to fly around, but comparing the size of Metropolis from both games, this is the game that I would want to go around doing so much fun in. It makes exploration much more admirable and much more fun to go around flying at the speed of sound. The game also brings comic book villains into the mix, which the movie didn't do. We've already discussed Mongol, and of course there's Lex Luthor, but basically they brought another iconic villain.
Hey, boy, you know, this place is a real dump. Bet you wish you were still on Creepton, don't ya?
You?
Up here, pal! The one and only Mr. Mixius Spitlick, straight from the 5th dimension.
What mayhem are you up to now, Mrs. Pitalik?
Mr. Mixius Spitalik, the imp from the 5th dimension. In regular DC animation, you will see him, and he is portrayed by the late Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh, this is rich! I could play this game for millennia if my tuchus didn't get tired.
The one thing that this game did with Mr. Mixius Spitalik is make him the Riddler of this game. Basically do his challenges and you win prizes, and there's even moments where you have to race Mixie. However, the game misses a significant opportunity by not including a Mr. Mixius Spitalik boss fight. Imagine the most over-the-top and chaotic boss fight in comic book gaming history, where the only way to win is to make him spell or say his name backwards. That would have been a fantastic addition and true highlight of the game. Is it annoying to do the challenges? Oh, absolutely. It will be as annoying as picking up the Riddler trophies, but there is a bit of satisfaction to get rid of the enemies. Other villains will include the kryptonite-powered cyborg Metalla, who offers one of the best boss fights in the game. Initially, we fight him in regular size, but later on, Metalla will grow to a gigantic scale, requiring you to hurl objects at his kryptonite heart to defeat him. It's a thrilling encounter that showcased the game's action-packed gameplay mechanics, which is pretty cool. Next is Bizarro, offering more evenly matched since Bizarro possesses abilities similar to that of Superman's own. But it might be lacking a bit, but I actually do like characters who are evenly matched to the player, but differences aside. Of course, Mongol returns, and we're near the end of the game, which is kind of disappointing. There are more iconic Superman villains that we could have added to this game. Sure, I already mentioned Lex Luthor, but we could have fought Toyman and a giant toy robot, Livewire. Basically the intergalactic bounty hunter Lobo, Parasite, Bruno Mannheim and Intergang, Atomic Skull, and even Titano. These villains are not as formidable or even as powerful as Darkseid, Zod, or Brainiac, but they're the primary adversaries that Superman would regularly face in Metropolis. Including them would add a lot of depth and excitement into the game. Of course, being a comic book game, there is a discussion about skins, and the game offers only 3. The normal suit, the flight suit, and the Golden Age suit. This is rather limited compared to other games like Spider-Man for the PS1, which featured a wide variety of skins. By 2006, Superman has a multitude of iconic costumes that fans would love to see, such as the Christopher Reeve suit, the Fleischer suit, the Kingdom Come suit, the black suit from Death of Superman, even the Batman Beyond suit. Including more of these iconic looks will greatly enhance the game's appeal to the fans. Yeah. And of course, we reach the end of the game. Basically, if you haven't seen the movie, basically Lex Luthor wants to create a new continent using kryptonite. And, well, Superman flies in, stops several weather catastrophes, like stopping tornadoes that are basically an exact copy of Superman 64, and the game ends. So basically, we have a pros and cons list of what can we see in the Superman game. So what are the pros that this game has brought in? Basically, the open world is very expansive and enjoyable, Superman's range of abilities is well implemented, the selection of villains is diverse and interesting, the flight mechanics are very exhilarating, and Mr. Mixius Spitalik adds a unique challenge and entertainment factor that we can do at times. And even there are even moments where basically we save cats, like literally, There are cats all over Metropolis. That's actually a pretty cute moment that I want to add, like Superman just saving cats from trees. The cons, however, are way too big, such as Superman's lack of traditional health bar, the roster of villains and alternative suits are limited, and it's based on a movie with mixed reviews. In other words, it's a very mid game in general. The only reason why I love this game is just to fly around as Superman. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not a perfect Superman game, but it's the blueprint of one, which basically I have a list of improvements of what is needed. Number 1. Characterization. Showcasing Superman's kind-hearted nature and moments as Clark Kent as he interacts with his parents, Lois, Jimmy, and other characters that is in Superman's life, such as Kara. Hell, even saving cats from trees is something that Superman would do. Hell, Superman was so kind that he actually helped kids who are diagnosed with cancer to the Watchtower to play a scavenger hunt. And the last piece was getting a picture of Batman smiling. Number 2. A health bar. Implementing a health bar is to better balance the game mechanics, and also prove that Superman is still immortal. He's not a god, he's a man. He can take hits, but he's not a god. Or did everybody in the entire planet forget this? Environmental interactions. Yeah, basically we need semi-destructible environment, similar to that of Project Blue Steel, which was cancelled in 2008. More villains. Yeah, basically Superman has a large, iconic rogues gallery of villains. We're not asking for Brainiac or Darkseid, we're basically asking possibly the most iconic villains that Superman has ever faced. Skins. Yeah, basically we need a large barrage of skins that basically a lot of fans, including myself, adore to this day. Mr. Mxyzptlk. Basically, making Mr. Mxyzptlk as this game's version of Arkham Riddler is perfect. And yes, it is irritating, but don't worry, there's gonna be some satisfaction when you beat him. Flight mechanics. Basically, ensure that Superman's flight feel as powerful and responsive similar to that of Superman Returns. Storytelling. Deliver a compelling narrative with high quality writing, akin to the standards set by someone like Paul Dini when he wrote the DC animated universe. The usage of powers. Basically, we can have some sort of interaction with the D-pad just like in this game, or you can use a gadget wheel, similar to that of Spider-Man or Arkham Knight. Furthermore, we need to use detective vision, basically using a hypersenses such as enhanced hearing and X-ray vision. And finally, combat style. We don't want to mimic Batman with the free-flow combat. Basically, just focus on conquering the epic, godlike feel that is basically very held back by Superman. Make him feel almost like Kratos, except less gory. In fact, hey Santa Monica, make a Superman game! Basically, I just said the most craziest list that we need to make a Superman game, and also how Superman Returns is basically a blueprint to what we need. Can it be done? Oh yeah, it can be done, but it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time to think of how it could work. It's not impossible, it's just hard, but it can be done. And believe me, we are running out of patience when it comes to WB games. And as always, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel for more content.